So what Kevin McCarthy said is true. A leading indicator of who's going to win in the next race is the number of retirements, right? Because the political cycle is going to be so bad. So many of those people look at the races and go, I don't want a tough race. I'm probably not going to win. I would rather just retire. So that's why Democrat retirements, or I'm going to run for a different seat. Those things are stacking up. But here's the big thing right now is the generic polling. So the generic polling, would you rather have a Republican or a Democrat in Congress? Republicans are leading from anywhere from 4 to 6 points. That is massive. And why I say that is because the way the voter trends work is normally if Democrats are up by 4 points, that's even for Republicans, just by the way the American electorate turns out. Republicans up by 4 or 6. Kevin McCarthy's right. This is going to be a bloodbath. I think the Republicans can pick up anywhere from 35 to 55 seats. It could be significant for McCarthy and Republicans in the House.
Everything that Sean Duffy just laid out holds strong weight. Yes, it's true that people are always retiring, and it's nothing out of the ordinary that people are retiring just ahead of the midterms. However, during such crucial times, people opting out, especially people in committee positions of leadership, really shows that they know what's ahead. The Democrats know that a red wave is coming, and with all the gerrymandering and with Biden's low approval numbers and the Republicans beating them in polling, it's almost a surefire guarantee that the House and the Senate will be taken back by the GOP. I think the most important point that Sean Duffy laid out is that Republicans in the GOP base religiously turn up to the polls, and that even when Democrats are as much as 4 points ahead of them in generic polling ballots, they still typically are about even because liberals typically don't step out to vote as much. Now, why is that? That mainly has to do with the fact that the Republican base is extremely homogenous. It's mostly white, and that spans across the rich to the working to the lower classes. Now, the Democratic Party takes up mostly more of the working classes, but divided along the culture lines, that's what really keeps the Republican Party homogenous, is the tactics, the race baiting tactics that we know they use. Now, the Democratic base doesn't show up to the polls as frequently and as in consistent numbers because the base is just pure and simple, just more diverse. It's made up of many more minority and ethnic bases that have different types of concerns for their specific communities. And it's built up largely of white liberals as well, who are in the upper rungs of society, as we know. So along policy lines, there really isn't enough congruency and enough unionization for the Democratic Party to really always hold true to what their polling numbers say. That's why it's dangerous to get too comfortable and to assume that you're going to win elections, because what we know is that the GOP is going to show up to the polls. And so it's important for Democrats to continue to unite under policy positions, because the things we know that are popular, like improving the economy, improving healthcare, improving education, lowering expenses on the military, balancing out the tax system, things that are popular across the board. If Democrats can really as a unit go after those policies moving forward and not be as disorganized, then those polling numbers will start to balance out. But that's really why we see those discrepancies in polling numbers, to where even if Democrats are up in generic polling ballots, they still can lose elections, because in general liberals don't turn up to the polls as much. And again, it's because the base just not as homogenous. So we got to continue to focus on policy above everything else.